Growing up, I had dreams and aspirations, but always felt like the kid that didn't fit in. For the most part, I wasn't a bad kid, but when I made the transition into adulthood, I turned to the streets for guidance. This led to getting locked up in juvenile hall, doing time in CYA, and eventually a 120-month sentence in federal prison. I had a lot of time to think and reflect during my federal sentence. So I share with you what I learned, hoping I can positively influence someone else's life with Prison Talk.
What up? Big Herc 916, getting down with Fresh Out. We recently teamed up with the Guilty Panda Prison Gang and their CNFT project, their charitable non-fungible token. It's dropping January 11th on Hedera, and they're actually creating a platform so that they can address prisoner mistreatment across the globe. A large portion of these cryptocurrencies raised are going to be put towards foundations and journalists who have a voice so that we can deal with this problem across the globe. By becoming a member of the Guilty Panda Prison Gang Discord group and owner of the CNFT, you will have a voice and be able to share in this community and this movement. And it's something that's going to really rock the world. So we look forward to you guys participating in a drop on January 11th on Hedera and becoming a member of the Guilty Panda Prison Gang. And you know, I spent almost a decade of my life in prison, and I know a thing or two about prisoner mistreatment. And this Prison Talk is right on point with what the Guilty Panda Prison Gang is doing. This article is from the New York Times, Tim Oregano, and it's from January 9th, 2022. And it talks about Susanville. Susanville's built his whole economy off of Susanville State Prison. And Susanville is Sierra Nevada, California border, middle of nowhere. And this town is actually taking legal action so that the correctional facility is not closed down. Susanville was built in the 1960s, and basically they relied on the jobs of this prison to build its economy. Now, before the prison, you know, they had, you know, sawmills and cattle ranches, and now the prison has become its main source of income, and the town's economy has been built around that. The civic life, the real estate, local schools, all depend on the prison. And the amount of money the town received from federal pandemic relief funds and state money to fix the roads, you know, has been a big part of them keeping their town going. So when you think about this, and you talk about prison reform, you talk about recidivism, you talk about filling bed space up in prison, do you think there's really any true motivation to help these guys when they get out of prison, or better yet, when they're in prison, to create programs to help them so they don't go back to prison? The answer is hell no. These same groups that pump out their fist and talk about, mistreatment and helping the public and this and that to get elected, they really don't give a damn, man, because they have invested interest in the correctional guards union, who lobby to keep a lot of these different programs out of the prisons. Also job security. See, you could easily turn a prison town into a Tesla, into an Amazon, into any type of private industry outside of prison. But prison's the easiest. It's a no-brainer. You just turn a key, let these guys go up in the cell, do their time, get out of hand, get overtime, riot kicks off. I mean, what does that tell you about the status of these people who were so-called getting allocated funds to so-called reform the system? See, you want to reform something, you got to start all the way from the top. And it's places like Susanville that are legally fighting, it says here. Let me find the part. It says they're taking legal action. They're seeking, rather than seeking out new industries to replace the prison, last year the town filed a lawsuit against the state and is still pending, arguing that officials violated environmental codes and decided to close the prison and did not give the local officials any prior notice. Now, it says here also that the fight has been front and center for residents for the past several months, but the issue has also drawn attention across the state amid this divisive debates about the future of the state's penal system. Governor Gavin Newsom, a Democrat, has promised to close 2 prisons, the one in Susanville and another in Tracy, a town about 60 miles east of San Francisco, which has already closed. The culmination of years of work by activists as well as a steady decline in the state's inmate population. Now, I'm all for giving people a second chance, showing success stories. That's what Fresh Out is all about. And, one of the things they had said previously when going to a network about our channel was that we were glorifying prison. I said, how are we glorifying? They were saying, well, you're showing all these guys who are successful. Well, that's the point, is to get out to prison and never go back, to show people that you can change, that you can make a difference. Now, to show the guy who's on the brink of going back, the guy who's still robbing, the guy who's still running around on drugs trying to support his habit, we ain't with that bullshit. If a person doesn't seek help or try to change their mentality and their ways, then you have to do something to protect the community. They got to be locked up, plain and simple. If you don't want to change, I don't want you running into my window, coming through my window, trying to run up in my house, hurting my family, breaking into my car. I want to be able to have a safe community. But if we start inside, creating job skills, opportunities, why not start before they actually get back into society so that they can have a fighting chance? You have a lot of guys who get out of prison, hard workers. They're doing a lot of the construction jobs. They're doing a lot of the city jobs nobody wants to do. They're doing things that the person out here who's been living the cushy life don't want to be bothered with. So let's give these guys an opportunity to take advantage of those jobs that nobody else wants to do, so they don't revert back to crime and things of a negative nature, being depressed, going back on drugs because they feel like they have no options, So that's how I look at it in the big gist of things. And when you talk about like these places and the fact that, you see the rise in crime in California, it's almost like they're trying to set it up for failure to say, see, I told you so, and then they're going to open up 5 times as many prisons. So you got to see what they're trying to do. It's a big play. The play is bigger than what's on the surface, just closing down Susanville and Tracy. You got to give people an option. You got to create other opportunities. There's so much going on in just the tech industry and some of these other industries where, they're the ones lobbying all these different things. Why not give these guys jobs? See, you say, a person shouldn't have to do the time, and yeah, some of these sentences are draconian, but why not offer them something to do at these different places, after they went through a probationary period? So you can't just let anybody walk up in your place of business, but there are people that are good people. They just made bad choices. And that's what it all boils down to. But to try to keep these places open and all they're doing is creating cesspools for more violent criminals for more gang activity, it's like, dude, put that money into the communities, put that money into trade schools. You know, plenty of guys learning how to do diesel mechanic, auto mechanic, welding. I know there's a couple guys who've been on our channel that have gotten jobs, you know, started their own welding businesses, that work in concrete, that work for the city, work for unions. These guys are hard workers and they're ex-felons. We got to change the narrative. You know, it's not about building more prisons, and it's not about trying to flip the script and make it look like you're helping these ex-felons, but you're actually setting them up for failure because there's no job opportunities. You know that the economy in that particular area has no backup plan, and so, you know, 10 years down the line, you can double the prisons. I play chess, not checkers, man. I see the game, and I don't want to see, you know, young men throwing their life away. I'm Big Herc, and I have over a decade of experience in the prison system. Yeah, I've done a lot of time, made a lot of stupid mistakes, but that's why I'm here with you today, educating you on the Mastermind program by Fresh Out. See, they don't give you a manual when you go to jail on how to survive. They don't tell you how to go take a shower, where to sit at when you go to chow, what to do when you have mail call, how to handle your commissary. See, we cover that and a multitude of other topics that are very important, because if you do the wrong thing, you can get your damn wig split. We have over 100 million views as of date on our YouTube channel, but we've put and condensed all this knowledge into this Mastermind program so that you can provide your client with a winning chance. Do yourself a favor and your client a favor and sign them up for our program so they don't have to get their wig split and they can make it out alive.